is 5 o'clock. The public hearing for October the 8th, 2019 is called to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Hebert. Here. Myers. Here. Wireball. Trucca. Here. Sack. Hogue. Here. Shaw.
Okay, with us this evening, we have Mark McKeever, who is the Planning Committee Chairman. Mr. McKeever. We have Landon Hill back over here, who is our zoning administrator, and we also have Rob Ratliff, the law director, is with us. The public hearing has been called to consider a proposed amendment to the Bucyrus City zoning ordinance per the request of the Bucyrus City Council Planning Committee. Under consideration at this meeting is item 1, amending Bucyrus Codified Ordinance 1157.02, official zoning district map to redesignate properties at 940 and 948 South Highland and 919 and 953 Failer Street as follows. From urban neighborhood residential R3 to limited commercial industrial LIC. Notice for this public hearing was published in the Bucyrus Telegraph Forum on September the 6th, 2019. Today, anyone interested in expressing his or her opinion or opinions about the proposed changes may do so by approaching the podium. Each is asked to state his or her name, address, and whether he or she is a proponent or opponent of the proposed changes. 5 minutes will be allotted each guest. Everyone is asked to keep in mind that this public hearing is being held only to share information. No decisions will be made at this time, and all information presented this evening will be considered by the Planning Committee at a later date. All references regarding the zoning laws are from the amended City of Bucyrus zoning ordinance effective April the 19th, 2002. So we are here to amend section 1157.02 entitled Official Zoning District Map. Bucyrus City Planning Commission recommended in a letter to council dated August the 14th, 2019, that it was favorable to amending section 1157.02. Are there any communications?
We have one letter here. This was addressed to Landon Hill Zoning Administrator dated September 30. It's from Cinda M. Kropka, 1114 East 7th Avenue here in Bucyrus. Dear Mr. Hill, I am Cinda Kropka, a resident of Bucyrus living at 1114 East 7th Avenue. I am writing to express my opposition to the proposed rezoning of 940 South Highland Avenue, 948 South Highland Avenue, 918 Failer Street, and 953 Failer Street from R3 to LIC for the following reasons. Conditions from current structure/business located at 953 Failer Street. Noise/traffic increase. The noise level has increased. Running engines, vehicles traveling in and out, vehicle motion alarms, random clumps, bangs, and bumps. Visual intrusion. There are several vehicles and equipment and currently a huge pile of dirt on this property that negatively impacts my view. Airborne dirt and dust particles. There has been an increase of dirt and dust polluting the air blowing toward my property and inside my home. Odor. At times there is an increase of fumes in the air. And traffic on Failer Street, which is more of an alley, has increased and is dangerous to children playing in the area. Rezoning will lead to existing conditions. The conditions listed above will become worse as the current business expands or a new business is developed. Property values. Expanding the LIC zone will negatively affect property values. Who wants to buy a home that sits right next to an industrial/commercial business? The current business has already altered the essential character of the view from my back porch. My view was of a nice big field, willow tree, oak tree, and single-family houses where one could enjoy quiet breezes, birds chirping, squirrels chasing each other, and kids running around. The current business is not designed, constructed, operated, or maintained to be in harmony with its surrounding area, and the LIC classification will only negatively affect it further. I don't believe this neighborhood has changed or is changing to such a degree that it is in the public's best interest to rezone. This is an area of stability with only 2 empty houses. The LIC designation is not conducive to the atmosphere and is inappropriate for this neighborhood. The limited commercial property already in the area has been a detriment to the neighborhood, and rezoning additional areas will only compound it more. Please do not rezone the above stated parcels to LIC. Once the property is rezoned, the owner can develop within the approved LIC zoning and expand, in which case property owners of single-family homes in the area will come out the loser. Thank you for considering how this rezoning will negatively impact our neighborhood. Cordially, Cinda M. Popka.
Thank you. The planning committee reported favorably to Bucyrus City Council on August the 22nd, 2019 to the amendment proposal. Comments by the zoning administrator?
Overall, do you want me to get into the review of the change itself, or?
Yep.
Okay. We've got a couple visuals up there on the screen on the other side of the room there that could help show exactly what we're talking about with the area of the request. There at the intersection of Highland and Failer, and this would be the 5 properties, 4 parcels that would be changed from the R3 zoning district to the LIC zoning district if it is approved. The addresses include 940 South Highland, 948 South Highland, 919 Failer, and 953 Failer. The proposed use by the applicant does qualify under the permitted uses in the LIC district, basically underneath the warehousing and distribution classification. It allows for truck fleet parking, maintenance areas, those types of things, all of which would be what the applicant is proposing to do with the land should it be rezoned. Particular considerations, in the LIC district, there's typically a setback that requires a minimum of 200 feet between any new structure and a abutting residential zoning district. However, in this case, there is a provision that allows for, in areas of the city where existing platted lots within 1 block of the subject property average less than 75 feet in width, and there is industrial or business uses located in close proximity, then those provisions do not apply, and in such case, the front, side, and rear yard setbacks for those properties become those of the abutting residential zoning district. In which case, or in this case, those subject properties within the 1 block do average under that 75-foot mark. So that would mean that the setbacks for zoning would then be reduced to those of the R3 zoning district, which include a front yard setback of 20 feet, side yard setbacks of 4 feet, and rear yard setbacks of 20 feet as well. Another thing to consider would be with the exterior storage of the raw goods. This would be a landscaping company, so mulch, stone, whatever the case may be. Exterior storage in the LIC is not permitted unless an acceptable plan for screening such storage has been submitted and approved to the Planning Commission.
Is that it?
Sure.
Okay. Planning committee comments. Any comments from members of the planning committee?
Have any at the moment. That was gonna be the one thing you mentioned, that the screening is required. We talked about that when we had the hearings for the drive-throughs and things like that, for headlights, but it falls into the same category for, if I wanna look out my back door and instead of seeing a pile of rocks, I wanna see, some shrubbery or something.
And it can be a combination of landscaping, of mounding of dirt, or of fencing. Typical remedies are the steel slats that go through a chain link fence or something along those lines. But there have been instances where they may plant a row of evergreen trees, combine that with some mounding of dirt to reach the needed height of, if they go that route, it's actually the combination of the elements have to reach 7 feet within 3 years of planting the trees.
Who does that go through for?
Planning Commission.
Planning Commission.
Other questions for regarding? Okay. Moving on then, for proponents of the proposal, those that are in favor of it, if you'd like to address council, please. You need your name and your address. Dave, did you want to comment?
I guess I can. I'm Dean Kennedy at 3323 Archer Road. You're welcome. Let you guys share one of these. Pretty much just what I'm wanting to do in lot 3141. I want to just put some bins in so I can have some topsoil mulch or rock, and maybe I have those concrete barriers in between them. The other thing I want to do is potentially in 3148, where I bought that trailer and I tore it down, is eventually possibly put one in for expansion. And 30 and 3139, throw in some more parking for employees.
Doesn't sound like too much different than what you
No,
had.
not too much difference at all.
So then that's the alley that we're seeing at the bottom, that is not Southern Avenue, so there are other properties
Correct.
between that property and Southern Avenue?
Yep.
Correct? Okay, and you already own those properties that you just discussed?
Yes.
The proponent letter, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, came from, if you go to the bottom right corner of the television screen, or not proponent, but opponent, I'm sorry. Just that bottom right corner, I think, is where that residence is at.
Okay. So it's on the other side of the alley and east of,
Yeah.
Taylor.
Yeah.
yeah.
Judging
Okay.
by what it looks like there, that's the, I think you're right. It looks like the start of the last name.
No, all the alleys are closed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the alleys are closed.
They're there on the zoning maps, though, even though they're
Yeah.
vacated, not used, we still have them out on the zoning maps and everything.
Not vacated, undeveloped.
Oh, they're undeveloped.
Would be the term
Okay,
there.
sorry.
That alley that runs east and west, between Highland and Failer, that was actually part of our recent Route 2 sewer separation project where they put in a new sewer main in that alley, so that is certainly going to remain open going forward. And I believe running east and west between Failer and Union, they're putting in some kind of storm feature to try and get some of the storm water out of that area as well, so it would be the same assumption that it likely would not be closed going forward.
And I do have a question. I could swear we had a hearing where we vacated that Baylor will not be extended to sub.
Correct, that portion has been
That been
vacated.
vacated. That will always be between those houses, so.
I don't know of any process that undoes that, so.
I do remember we vacated that for the,
For a garage that was sitting there.
well, but it was
Property.
for the property owners there to use that land instead of.
You can see just the top of the word vacated there to the south of where the right-of-way Failer ends. That's the portion that, which is why we had to go down that alley
We have
with
that, yeah.
the sewer, but.
So, Dane, so you're gonna, so I understand, in your proposal, this area here, you're gonna put up some type of,
I can see where you're,
this section here that faces.
yeah,
You're gonna put some type of fencing up, or you
I
have,
do whatever Landon told me we had to do to be able to put the
yeah, I'm
down.
just saying, because that would help a lot of neighbors if they could see
Yeah.
that you're gonna put something up to.
Well, there'll be those big concrete barriers behind there too, and those will block everything that's in there.
So it has to reach a height of what, within 3 years? 7?
7 feet if you go with the natural vegetation and mounding or whatever, but there are no requirements on the height of the fence, but I think typically 6 feet is what's pretty well acceptable. It has to block the view of whatever is behind it.
Okay. Any other questions? Law Director? Okay, moving on, opponents, is there anyone that is opposed to this? If you'll step to the microphone, please, and we need your name and address.
my name is Anthony Dyer. I own 928 South Highland, 934 South Highland. And the lady that wrote that letter is the exact reasons that I am opposed to this. I don't want the bugs, I don't want the traffic, I don't want the noise. I work night shift, so the beeping from the loaders and the banging of the concrete, I ain't gonna be able to sleep. And my bedroom is probably 50 feet from where the bins are gonna be at the most.
You're section 350, 31, 50, 51, and 52 there?
And 53.
I just want to make sure that you're just north of that on Highland.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure where I got the right area.
Yeah, where all the properties come together, I'm right beside it.
Okay.
So at the most, my bedroom's gonna be one block away from where the banging and all the beeping from everything is gonna go. I've lived down there for 40 years, we've had a nice neighborhood, and I talked to Carl Massey Jr., he couldn't make it tonight because he's at work. He don't like the idea of it. And I know Patty, she ain't gonna like it, but she's a little way that's set in her ways. She lives right there on Favor Street. I've been over to her house 2 or 3 times, I haven't been able to catch her though. I don't know if she changed her name, it was Patty Fetters. She married Don Fetters, so I don't know if she changed it back or not. But I know she ain't gonna like it. And my property's right beside it. That's pretty much what I gotta say about it.
Any questions for Mr. Dyer? No? Anyone else to address council? Yes, your name and address, please?
William Kennedy, 455 Lawn Avenue. I'm the property owner of 916 South Highland. I'm within 200 feet. I received a letter. And my concern was I've lived down there for 10 years myself. And then I bought a house up north. Reason I bought the house up north was because we was having problems with the flooding and things like that. Well, now we're putting our tax dollars and our property tax dollars into the new sewers, along with the water department. We're starting to get things changed. You know, it'd be nice to be able to put a better home on there instead of an old 1970 trailer. That was our dreams. I'm just opposed to this because if there's industrial there, there's no sense for me putting another $60,000 home on that property. And that's all I've got to say.
So your property has a trailer on it now?
Yes.
Okay.
I own 2.
So you're just north of what we're seeing on the map?
Yep. I'm connected to Anthony Dyer. I got a quarter lot and then 2 other lots
Okay.
that runs north.
Are you in the corner like clear up by letters?
Letters, there's one trailer, I don't know who owns that now, but, letters connects to the corner of my lots,
Okay,
on the back, on the alley part, the closed alley part.
okay, thank you. Anyone else to address council this evening regarding this? Okay. Landon, anything else you want to?
Yeah, I think the other concern would be that the current business that is operating out of the structure that is there on Thaler Street was never quite what it was supposed to be used for. The original permit that was pulled to build the garage was a non-commercial storage garage is what it was referred to as. And however it got to this point, I couldn't tell you, it was before my time. Dane bought it from another gentleman who was using it as some kind of hub for, I think, the same type of business. But it's not zoned appropriately for the use that it has, and it's not the use that the structure was built for. So that's another reason that Dane had to try and come and get the zoning change to allow for the operation to continue at the site as it is. That's just another consideration to put out there.
Mr. Myers?
Mr. Allen, is there any legal precedent on the fact that Mr. Kennedy purchased this while it was being used, as Landon stated, kind of not in a conforming state, and we didn't do anything about it? Is there any?
No, contrary to popular opinion, the city's not notified when the property sells. So, to the fact that the property may have been used in one way but now it's not conforming, that's something that just flies below the radar and nobody notices when it's sold. That doesn't grandfather in that use.
A question, Mr. Hildy, down where the word alley is right there on the left side, what are the properties, is that all the one, the electric company's property down through there, is that?
On the left side, yes, that's Ohio Power.
That's Ohio Power, so that's
It's
been there
basically
forever.
a giant lot that's just north of their little station there.
Okay, so that's the flat lot part of it, okay. And then, taxing my memory here, but,
This might be beneficial.
okay,
Yeah, because that lot over there across the street, we're asking when all the parks all the tree trimming trucks.
Because that's part of ADP property.
but it seems to me like we already had back in, it's been a while back, but there was a business, wasn't there an auto repair type business somewhere there on Highland Avenue that, someone wanted to reopen it and it had been past the 2 years for its grandfather clause? Do you remember that, or was
Yeah,
that
it
a
was
different
Junior
lot?
Slagle.
Yeah, it was, you're right.
It was
Junior
what?
Slagle. I fought that one too.
Okay, so that was a business that was in there, and then on the corner,
No, Junior petitioned to have it turned into a legitimate business.
okay,
And I fought that one too, and Carl Van Busker tried the same thing. Bobby's Orange tried the same thing. And then Jared Slagle tried the same thing.
okay. And then on the corner, though, there is a business in that corner at Southern Avenue, correct?
Yep. That used to be, that was mine.
That was
That was Iron
rezoned,
Home Improvement, wasn't it?
Yep.
that was rezoned to the LIC district in 2009.
In 2009, that was already rezoned, okay, so that's why, okay, so that one's still sitting there as a viable business, okay? I'm just trying to look at a history of what's been in there.
And Dane, you currently use that corner lot, correct?
Yeah, I use half of it.
The corner lot, you mean down on Southern?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Any other discussion items for this evening regarding this? We need to refer the preceding subject back to the plating committee for further study. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McKeever. Second by Mr. Myers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. This is just going back to the plating committee from city council, okay? This was just a public hearing, okay? The plating committee meeting will be held on October the 17th, 2019, here in council chambers at 6 p.m. or thereabouts, 6 p.m. We have all of our committee meetings on Thursday evenings. So that will be the next time this subject will come up. We need to excuse council members that are absent, Mr. Schock, Ms. Sack, and Mr. Wireball. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Foat. All those in favor of excusing Schock, Sack, and Wireball, say aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carried. And now we need a motion to adjourn this public hearing.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
On the next meeting, will we have more input, or will we just get this?
Yes, you will.
Absolutely.
At committee meetings, yes, you will have input there at those meetings, and like I said, it will be on October the 17th, 6 o'clock
Starts at 6 and we'll get to that
Yeah.
committee as soon as we can.
I just didn't know if there was gonna be a decision then, or if we still.
It could be and it may not, depends on
What happens?
input is from Mr. Kennedy and from everybody else. We can decide then, or, you know, if there's enough information that we may have to table it and do a little more research.
It would have to go back to full council from committee for a vote.
Oh,
anyway.
yes,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah,
Full
that's what I thought.
council has to vote on this, so this is just going back into committee, it's not coming before council yet, okay?
Still got about 5 or 6 steps before we could ever get to that point, so we got plenty of time.
Yeah, we have, if you would like to get it, we have a copy of all the steps we have to go through here in order to do anything, okay?
With your
You're more than welcome
permission,
to
I'll
have
get
that.
in mine if that's all right.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I need a motion then to adjourn this public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Foat, second by
Second.
Mr. McKeever. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. We are adjourned at